Aloha boys and girls, welcome back to yet again another video. First of all, this video I've recorded more than once for the fact of the video that I previously made is so out of date by now, it's just not even worth uploading or trying to edit at all. So with that, we're starting the entire thing over again. We're going to go everything that's happened since the end of Season 3 playoffs and forward. And it's kind of sad too, because by the time that this video probably goes up, once the majority of people watch it, it will already be out of date. That's just how the COD scene works. It's sad, but it's true. So with that, let's get into some roster mania, some pre-Worlds, post-Season 3 playoffs, roster mania. We only have like a couple months left until Worlds, and players are already making switches, even at events. Like, let's just be real. Like, people were, half of the teams and half the players were announcing that they were off their squad at the event. Like, it was like, oh, we just lost on main stage, all right, I'm out of here. Like, that was kind of like the exact thing of what happened. So the first thing that we found out, Optic Nation making roster changes. I want to say it was probably after, right, like maybe like an hour after Optic Nation was eliminated from the Season 3 playoffs, that Mochilla did announce that he is leaving ON. He said it's not working, the team is just not right for him, and that they never really had a bond together, which I agree with, to be honest with you. Moch is a fantastic player. People will look at his recent play, like his recent tournament KD, which I think wasn't very good. It was like a 0.6, 0.5. Like, people were saying it was terrible. I haven't seen where it's been that low, but it could be. I don't really know for sure. But still, Optic Nation losing one player, losing Moch, their dominant AR, and it's kind of funny because people are saying, oh my gosh, you know, like I said, Moch is terrible. There was one event, if you look at every other event, I'm pretty sure he's leading in KD for them every other time. He's the main battle, he's a fantastic battle player. Optic Nation losing a very, very key necessity to their team. So with that, Optic Nation is currently looking for one, and now could other players leave? Absolutely, and I'm not just saying that. There's been rumors, and Miracles has actually been tweeting out saying that, you know, I have a lot of decisions to make. So it's like, is there going to be more than Moch leaving the Optic Nation roster? And with not a whole lot of time left, anything could happen. Like, they're going to have to start making changes now. Like, to be honest, like, chemistry is such a big deal. ON's a big team that has to deal with that too. So it's like, where do we go from here? Who does Optic Nation look to pick up? I know a lot of people were kind of talking about Nameless, which we'll get to in just a second, but he would be a very good option, and he's definitely free, let's just say that. So ON looking for one, could be looking for two here very shortly. We don't know, anything could happen, but for right now, Mochilla is a free agent, and he's looking for a squad for Worlds. Next thing we have to talk about is actually Rise Nation. Now, Rise definitely did not have the event that they probably would have liked to. Immediately starting off pretty well at the Season 3 playoffs, beating TK, then they would lose to OG, then they would later get knocked out in the losers bracket, but Rise has been a team full of changes this year. Like, they've had Goonjar, they've had TJ Halley, they've had so many players, TCM even, in fact, like the last couple of months, and I feel like the last two pickups that they had were very solid. They had Apathy, and then they picked up Burnsoff, two phenomenal players, but it's just not working. And why I do kind of disagree with the fact that there's one event left, Apathy just didn't feel comfortable. He said, with this team, we're not going to win Worlds. We don't stand a chance to really get in that $250,000 prize pool. It was in his best interest to leave. So I gotta give respect to Apathy. He's a fantastic player, and when he is going off, and like I said, whenever he is going off, whenever he's playing his best, he is one of the best players in the game. Sometimes you'll see it, sometimes you won't. He's pretty inconsistent at times, to be fair, but when he's with the roster that he does well with, he just goes off. Like, you look at the first event, the MLG Columbus Open with FaZe. He was on that squad with like Slasher and whatnot. They were a dominant force because he liked being with that team. He enjoyed being with Sensor and whatnot. Like, they actually had a good friendship with each other. So if App can maybe find a good chemistry style with the team, we could easily see him have a fantastic event. But like I said, he is a free agent. Rise, for all we know, is looking for one. Could we see more players leave? Could we see someone join soon? Anything is possible, to be fair. Now, this is kind of quick, and I just want to get this out of the way. A lot of people were really confused about what happened with the whole Isolation Empire incident, and what basically happened was ISO, I believe it was Silly and Llama God, said that they weren't on the team anymore. It was a joke, apparently, so good one. I didn't laugh at all. I was actually pretty frustrated. I wasn't really that frustrated. It was just kind of like weird. Like, you don't really give announcements like that and then immediately say, no, it was just a joke. It's like, this is the main avenue for Twitter. Like, if you look at other esports players' Twitters and you look at ours, it's like there's a difference here. Like, the majority of the Call of Duty scene is on Twitter. Like, you look at the main people who are on the Call of Duty scene, they're on Twitter 100%. Or you really wouldn't know about them. Like, the main avenue for COD is on Twitter, and that's really where it relies at. So if you're making kind of fake announcements or being like as a joke, you know, it doesn't really work out too well. Let's just say that. So while it was a joke, it's not actually happening. ISO, as far as we know, is staying together. No need to worry if you're a fan of the Isolation Empire team. They're sticking together for Worlds and moving on and forward. So there you guys go. Just kind of clearing the air, because I know it wasn't really technically a roster mania incident, but a lot of people were asking me, like, what about ISO? Like, you didn't mention ISO in one of your tweets. It's like, well, didn't actually happen. Now for our next bit of roster mania, which is actually really, really interesting, which actually has to do with Denial. Now, Denial's a fantastic team. Many would regard them, and I would as well, regard them as a top team. You know, they're a fantastic roster, you know, with the roster of Slasher, Temp, Hook, and what was Replays. Replays has recently announced that he is no longer going to be on the Denial roster. It didn't seem like it was Denial kicking him out. It was that he is not confident in his ability, and he felt like he was kind of holding the guys back. And in my previous video, I want to say I went on for about 10 minutes talking about how important objective players are. Don't worry, it's not going to be a rant about it, but still, I have to mention, Replays is a fantastic player. Chris is one of my favorite players to watch. He's one of the most dedicated players that we have in the entire community. He's constantly trying to get better. He's always playing, and even when his team isn't on, he's always doing something, and I have to give him respect for that. You know, being able to see him at DC and Dallas, you know, he's just constantly working. Like, his team would go off and, you know, maybe do something else, so they go to the bathroom. He is still sitting there by himself just playing. He wants to get better. He knows he's not the best Slayer in the game, granted, but he's working on it, what his role is, and I feel like there's not a whole lot of objective players really left in the game. I think for Advanced Warfare, it's kind of been split up, where the support players kind of divide the objective role, and they kind of just play it together, you know, based on what maps you're playing or what game type you're playing. Someone might be a little bit higher than the other support player. But Replays is a hardcore OBJ. He's grabbing the bomb, he's getting in the hard points, he's grabbing the uplink drone when he needs to. He's doing all the stuff that, you know, isn't really noticed on the scoreboard. That's why I have a love-hate relationship with stats, because it shows stats. It doesn't show in-game, you know, objective stats. And the whole point to win a game is through the objective. Like, a lot of people will think, oh my gosh, you know, they got so many kills. It's not team deathmatch. Like, you don't win the game by getting kills. You win the game by getting kills, but also doing the objective work. If there wasn't a person to get in hard points, you know, nobody would win, or a couple points would decide a game. Replays is the main guy to do that. I think he's honestly one of the best players that we have in the game, with the objective role included. Going back to one of the events at Gfinity, I believe, when it was like Denial and Elevate kind of combined for one event, Replays had like a 1.34 KD. Like, he completely went off, so he has the capability to do so. You know, 100K event, that's when you got to clutch up, and that's exactly what Replays did. He's a phenomenal player, and he's not posting as a free agent. He actually deleted his tweets from the other day about Denial, so all of that could be changed. I don't know, but from what he said, and what I'm going to go off of this, is that Replays isn't really a free agent. He's just kind of in the air right now. He doesn't know what position he's kind of really into doing, and I got to say, Chris is a phenomenal player, and I hope that he does not let this kind of get to his head, because he's a great player. Just because of what people say on Twitter, what people will tweet you and say, oh, you know, your scoreboard didn't really show you doing well, it doesn't tell the full story, as, you know, I've previously said. Kind of talking about Chris really quickly, you know, some of the stuff that he's done, like even at DC, whenever they lost to Optic Gaming in the finals, they got actually 3-0'd by OG. Replays was inside of the booth while like all the interviews were going on, while all the pictures were being taken, and he was just sitting in the booth with no one else there, depressed and looking at the scoreboard. And I don't know if that was probably something that could have led to this. DC was kind of like the last event since Season 3 playoffs and whatnot, so you know, he's very dedicated. He's, you know, very passionate about what he does, and I hope that he continues to do, you know, what he's done for the last couple of years, be a phenomenal player and do what his role really is. Because there's a lot of people who will not do the objective role based on the hate that they will get. So hopefully he can continue, whether it's under Denial or not. To be honest, I think he can do better. I hate to say that, but Denial's dropped him like 3 or 4 times. And they, you know, they've been like, oh, you know, we shouldn't have done that because, you know, he's really talented, and you know, he's a key player for us. We don't know why we dropped him. You know, neither here nor there. I'm not gonna hate on Denial because changes have to be made at times. Rosters could be here or there, but still, Replays currently not really a free agent, kind of up in the air right now. We'll see what happens with him. Now, this is probably one of the main reasons why I redid this video, because at the time, Nameless had not announced that he was indeed a free agent. I noticed this last night when we were on the sticks. Which I can maybe try to post in the description if this video has been, if the video from then had been uploaded by now. Most likely it wouldn't have been, but still, Nameless actually had changed his profile, like where you have like whatever your name is, or you know, like I'm a pro player for @TheRise Nation or a pro player for @Team Caliber. He had actually taken that out of his bio, and I know that because I had checked his bio. It said Team Caliber. I was like, what is this? Like, someone's lying. Refresh TweetDeck, went back, and it was not. Like, it wasn't there anymore. And then after a couple hours, he put Team Caliber back in his bio, but it was like kind of misspelled. Like, he had the wrong @Team Caliber @. So I knew that he had done it to probably combat what people were talking about on Twitter, like, oh, Nameless, why did you take Team Caliber out of your Twitter handle, or why did you take it out of your profile thing or not? So he probably did that in fact of that happening, but he did announce today that he is indeed a free agent. Now, he was one of the people that I thought he could be a dominant player for Optic Nation. Optic Nation currently looking for a BAL player. Nameless is a BAL. They also like chemistry. Nameless has great chemistry with ON. I've been getting so many people's tweets saying, oh my gosh, I'm making a really bold prediction here, but Nameless to ON. Like, it's not really bold, because it's most likely going to happen. Well, I say most likely, but it's not for sure by any means. I don't know anything what's happening with Optic Nation for sure, but Nameless has been a great player. People can kind of give him hate because he doesn't have the best KD at times, but he really has done pretty well for the TK squad, and I know he was pretty frustrated. TK's not had the events that they were looking for, and you know, we'll see what happens with TK. They're currently looking for one player, and they're going to need some type of BAL. Like, honestly, I could see one of them kind of switching, maybe like Neslo switching to being a main BAL, or Sharp might switch or do something different, but you know, while I think that TK lost a really good player, I think that they can also gain a really good player. Okay, so this is kind of what everyone's saying. They're saying Nameless to ON, Apathy to either Denial or TK, and then Moach to either, or to whatever team the Apathy doesn't go to. It's just kind of flip-flop, which could happen. Like, to be honest, that's what I kind of see, or that's what I see right now. I think that Mochilla, Apathy, and Nameless might just trade positions. We'll see what happens, but there are organizations out there looking for players, which leads me to my next kind of topic to talk about. Prophecy. Prophecy has said, and you know, they've kind of mentioned, we're looking for a COD team for Worlds. We want to have a team for World. This is a massive deal for the fact that, you know, Prophecy is a very good organization. They've been in the Pro League in the past. They've been a very well-known team, and they're looking for 4. I believe that team before they left had like Aches. It had you know, Apathy on it as well. So could we see players return to there? Who knows? What could happen with the Prophecy lineup? A lot of people were saying on Twitter, they're like, you know, Moach, App, you know, Replays, and Nameless could make a very solid team, and I agree. Like, they kind of fill every role. They have 2 BALs, and they have you know, what would be 2 SMGs, along with like Replays kind of being that objective guy. Could all these players decide, you know what, let's just leave our team, let's go to Prof. Like, we have a full good organization here, and we all want to, you know, be motivated. We want to have a good team for Worlds. Could we see them, you know, maybe line up together? It's possible. Is it likely? Probably not, but it is still an option. Prophecy is a team out there looking for 4 players. They've, you know, kind of advertised and whatnot, saying, you know, we would like to have 4 players for this event, and obviously Worlds is kind of based off of pro points. So if they can get some really good and well-known players like these 4, put them under Prophecy, we can see Prophecy returning. You know, it could happen. We'll see what happens with that. Last thing to talk about, Lacefield, actually from XGN, a phenomenal player, at least at DC, has announced that he is also a free agent. I kind of feel like the guys from XGN not necessarily are always free agents, but it's like, you know, this is a team that we kind of lean back on in a sense. Like, we're on XGN. If we get any offers, if anything happens, we'll probably leave and go to a different team. But XGN's always here for us, if that kind of makes sense. And I hate to say that, but it's kind of true. I'm just trying to be real here. But Lacefield has announced he's not going to be on XGN. He is looking for a team, and he is a great player. I think for XGN, he led in KD. He was like one of the top 5 KDs for DC, and he's also very high in the S&Ds as well. So he's a great player. He's a great all-around player to probably add to any team that he goes to. What team will he go to? Could be Prof. Could be any of these teams that we have you know, already mentioned. Now, the final team that I want to talk about hasn't really been involved with Roster Mania as of yet, and I've not heard anything about their roster yet either, but a team that I think could be making changes, which is TCM Gaming. Now, the roster currently consists of Aches, Teep, Jerd, and also Fears. Fears has been their recent pickup. He's also the main BAL for them, and it kind of seems, based on Fears' tweets, which is not necessarily guaranteed, that he could be looking for another team as well. TCM has been struggling. They got knocked out by Optic Nation, I believe in the losers bracket. They got knocked out very, very early on, and they're not a team that I'm feeling confident by any means about heading into this next event for Worlds. So we could see stuff happen with them. What would happen with Aches and Teep, the duo? What would happen with Jerd, known as one of the best players that we've seen come from the EU? And he's been pretty dominant, to say the least. He's always getting in hard points. Like, I 100% got him for my esports draft team because of how many hard points that he rushes into. It's a lot of free points, let's just say that. So is TCM going to have changes? Not necessarily. It's what I think could happen. But who will be out of the team? Your guess is as good as mine. So going over the changes really quickly to just kind of give a little bit of a kind of summary over this entire video. So Mochilla leaves ON, Apathy has left Rise, Llama God and Silly are still on Isolation Empire, Replays has left Denial looking for one, excuse me. Nameless has left TK. Lacefield is a free agent, and Prophecy is looking for a squad for Worlds. That is it so far. Now keep in mind, be following my Twitter at Mr. Rostermania. It is a link in the description where you guys can maybe try to follow up, see all the tweets that I tweet out, because I'm very quick at tweeting out when roster changes do happen, and there are probably a lot more to come, because we're going to see what players kind of go to which team. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, and I'm sure there's a lot more rosters that we'll see make some changes. Intel. I'll just give you guys intel. Not really. Alright, so with that, that's going to conclude this video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to leave a like and let me know in the comments your guys' thoughts on these new rosters, where you think these players could go, and some changes that you guys see happening in the future. I know a lot of people are saying Nameless to ON. Put that in the comments if you think it really could happen, because I think it could too. It's very logical that it could happen. So with that, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. More videos to come soon. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, and until next time, peace out. Peace out. I don't even know.